Hello and welcome to a WFL breakdown on our Offseason Regimen program. This is a video series that helps new owners and old owners kind of get more familiar with some of our more complex concepts we have here in the WFL. I am one of the leadership team here in the WFL Winuvas, and I'm going to walk you through our Offseason Regimen program process. I'm going to walk you through the checklist of things as far as what you can edit and what you can change, the process on how to change those things, and then that's going to end the video. So without further ado, we're going to jump in right here to the WFL Offseason Regimen program document. You can actually get this via a custom command in our Discord channel. You can ask for that command by doing a help commands inside of Discord, and they will send you a list of the commands, and you can find where to get the document here. WFL Offseason Regimen program. This is basically something to supplement what little Madden has in place. Now, Madden, as of time of this recording, we're going to Madden 24. Obviously, Madden has added training camps and mini camps back into the mix, which does help some positions increase a little bit by giving them extra skill points, which can be a random assortment of skills that apply to a certain position. But this allows you to kind of focus on certain aspects of the player that you may want to improve. Now, each option is tiered as far as points. And just to reiterate, I'll probably talk about this a little more in the in our 50% video. But just to let you know, everyone, no matter what incentive plans you have, whether you contribute to the league or whether you just come in here to play games, everyone gets 10 off-season regiment program points. Everybody gets 10. You also can get more through RFAs, which is another process we'll talk about with the 50% list. But essentially, anybody you don't sign off your 50% list, they add points to your ORP as well. So you can have as many, you can have more than 10, but your minimum you're ever going to have is 10. You can add to that with incentive plans and incentive levels, and also through RFA process. You can use this link to get the ORP form, which I will do later on once I describe the different tiers. If you're familiar with this, if you're a veteran, I will tell you this is a very changed list from the last time you saw it. We did a lot of tweaking, or I did a lot of tweaking during the cycle between Maddens, because I wanted to make this a more simple process to read and comprehend for everybody, admin included. So you will see some changes to the format and some changes to how things line up. It may not be as nice and tidy as you liked it before. I've made some tweaks to some things that I thought were overpowered. Tried to make everything as balanced as possible. So we're going to start with Tier 1, and this doesn't, the top one doesn't change. Player skill focus training at 2 points. Essentially, for 2 of your off-season regimen program points, you can increase one of the following attributes 1 point. And these are all non-premium values, non-premium attributes. If you need to know what the difference between premium and non-premium attributes is, you can use this link to see what that is. The next one, however, is new to the Tier 1 area, and we're separating some of these traits out. These are going to be 2-point improvement traits, and we're going to call this player trait focus training. And this allows you to move one of the following items, one of the following attribute trails, 1 rank left or 1 rank right. And they're listed in order from lowest, quote unquote, to highest in most cases. Quarterback sense pressure, paranoid to trigger happy to ideal to average to oblivious. Decision making, which is what they're changing force pass to, I believe. Conservative, ideal, aggressive. Aggressive catching, rack catching. From no to yes. Covers the ball, never big hitters, medium hitters, all hits and always. Penalty, undisciplined, normal, disciplined. Play ball, conservative, balanced, aggressive. Essentially, if you're at one of those tiers, which everyone will be, you can essentially move yourself 1 level to the left or 1 level to the right. Now note that if you're at the end of a track, you cannot move left to go to the extreme end of the other track, or right to go to the extreme end of the other track. If you're the far left or far right, you cannot loop around, if you understand what I mean. For example, if you are a paranoid sense pressure quarterback, you cannot upgrade to oblivious from paranoid. You have to go to the right or to the left on this one path. If you are at the far left, you can only go right. If you're at the far right, you can only go left. I hope that makes sense to everybody. I don't feel like it's terribly complicated. When you fill out the form for those types of things, you will have to note what your quarterback is or what your player is. If you're doing like decision making, play ball, covers the ball, things like that, you will have to note what your player currently is and which way you want to upgrade it. It is all listed in the form. I will try and show that near the end of this video. I'll show you what the form looks like and how it will help you and help us get these player edits in place during the off season. We go to tier 2, which is 5 points. I've eliminated tier 3. I think I had a tier in between that was 4 points. We're just going to go from 2 to 5, and then 2 to 5 we jump to advanced trait focus. These are our more powerful traits, I guess, for lack of a better word. Things like fight for extra yards, high motor, adding power moves, adding finesse moves, adding strip ball, adding big hitter. All of those will cost you 5 points. Okay, and then position coach work. It depends on the position. You're going to add 1 to each of the following attributes. You can note through each of these, we have all the positions grouped in one area instead of splitting them out for defense and offense and kind of making it a little more congealed and confused. We trimmed it down and put everything under certain position coach work, and every position is represented here except for kicker and punter as the only one that's not represented here. But under that, you can add +1 of the following attributes, and each of these 5 attributes, and every position has 5 attributes that they will increase +1. So we tried to balance it out depending on the position. We tried to focus on position important attributes. So you can flow through this and see what's available. Obviously, for certain positions, we had to add in some of our premium attributes as part of the package. So you'll see some of these starred. Strength, agility, acceleration, all these are starred. I tried to put it at the back end of the list where I could. And to signify that, those are premium attributes and will not increase above 92 overall, no matter what you do. So if you have a linebacker, say, with 92 strength, and you try and give him run stuff, he will not increase to 93 strength. That extra point will just be wasted because we do not increase premium attributes above 92 overall. Okay, all these are listed, so you can kind of go through here, see what's there, see what's going on. 5 points, now you can gain or lose weight. You can adjust the following attributes, and again, things like speed, agility, acceleration, all these. I didn't do these because these are minuses, but do be aware that obviously the plus side of life, if you hit 92, you cap out. So if you try to increase a guy that has 91 change of direction using the lose weight option, he will hit 92 and cap out. So do be aware of that thing as far as increases go. Impact block is not a premium attribute, so that goes up. But essentially, you can gain weight or lose weight to help you maybe make a position change to, say, like, for example, I'm looking at it for Madden 24 for one of my wide receivers to convert him to a tight end, but he needs some extra poundage because our weight limits is 230 pounds and he's 224. So I might bump him up with weight and then get him into the tight end position, possibly. I'm not sure. And then obviously lose weight if you're trying to get to a certain spot or you're trying to increase your speed a little bit. You can do that for 5 points per 10 pounds lost. Tier 3, which is 10 points. O-line film study, that one increased a little bit just because the amount of offensive linemen you could have when you request this could be as many as 10 offensive linemen. So that's 20 awareness points basically split between 10 players at most. For 10 points, that's pretty good value, I feel like. So that's why we increased it from 5 points in the old system to 10. Workout program, gain 5 at 2 of the following attributes. Now, normally, we only allow +3 to be gained, normally. But with injury, toughness, and stamina, those are actually 3 special categories that there's no other way to increase them. They're not counted as a premium attribute. They're not counted as a non-premium attribute. So the only way you can increase injury, toughness, and stamina is using the workout program in WFL to increase their stamina, and you can increase 2 of those attributes +5. So if you want injury and toughness up, you can make that +5. If you want injury and stamina up, you can make those +5. You cannot make injury +10 by doing it twice. You have to do 2 separate attributes to get the +5 each. If you fill out the form wrong, which I'll show you how to fill out the form on that at the end of the video again, If you fill out the form wrong, you will get no increases, so be very careful how you fill out the form. Rush to 92, this one's got a star by it because obviously the name should imply that anything that hits that 92 mark, if it goes above 92, it will be ignored. But you can increase one of the following attributes plus 2. It's one of the few ways we allow you to increase your premium attributes, which are speed, acceleration, agility, strength, change of direction, throw power, kick power, hit power, and jump. And then above and beyond, this is one of the rare ways that we allow you to increase your non-premium attributes more than 3 points per off-season. So for 10 points, if you want to increase one player 4 points in non-premium attributes, you're allowed to do so using 10 points of your off-season regimen program to go above and beyond. Tier 4, the big boy house, 15 points. Obviously, with it being 15 points, you're going to need some help from RFAs or incentive plans to be able to buy any of this stuff in tier 4. But this is the highest tier we have. And this is one I added because we had some requests to change the throwing style of a quarterback. So we had a Tom House quarterback school, which allows you to do one of the following 2 actions. The first option you can do is you can change up to 3 tiers left or right in the current throwing category. And I put an example there. If you're in the traditional category and you're traditional 4, you can change to traditional 1 or traditional 7. Or if you change your entire category, you're going to start at the lowest in the category by number. So if you want to change from traditional throwing to slinger, which has a slightly faster throwing animation, you're allowed to do that, but you're going to start at slinger 9, which is the lowest slinger animation class there is as of time of writing. Do be aware that if Madden adds extra animations that increase that number, be aware that that number will slide down. So if slinger 9 suddenly is slinger 12, there's 12 slinger animations, you're going to bump down to slinger 12 if you change to the slinger animation mechanic. But if you're already in slinger, you can increase up to 3 levels per year, left or right, towards that coveted slinger 1, which I know everybody wants because it is the fastest throwing animation in the game. I think Aaron Rodgers and maybe Josh Allen have that animation. I know Aaron Rodgers does. But Slinger 1, just to let you know, is unattainable unless you are an X Factor or Superstar quarterback, and you can change to, you have the ability to change to Slinger 1. For example, if you're a star development quarterback and you are at Slinger 4, you can't go to Slinger 1. You can go to Slinger 2, but you cannot go to Slinger 1. If you're an X Factor or Superstar quarterback, you can upgrade from Slinger 4 to Slinger 1. Okay, it's a little bit confusing, but I wanted to add in the mechanic because we had some requests a couple of seasons ago to be able to change the throwing mechanics and without making it super overpowered, because I know everybody would just change their guy to Slinger 1 to get the fastest throwing animation, because that's all what we do. We try to game the game. This is a way to limit that in some aspects, but still allow you to do it. Because obviously changing your throwing mechanics is something that does take a lot of big process in real life to do, and it's not something everybody can do. So we made it where it's super lot of points. So you have to really commit to it if you really want to do it, which means you're going to leave some of your other positions possibly in the dust. All the rewards. This is another one that was requested for guys because we had guys winning multiple awards, and unfortunately with the way our award system is, you get certain points that you can spend towards non-premium attributes. Well, the problem with that is that with our limit of 8 points per off season, if you win a couple of awards, you easily, especially if you're lower overall, you exceed that 8 points, and suddenly now all those awards you won are wasted. Well, for 15 off-season points, you can use all the rewards, and it allows a single player to basically gain the rewards for winning all the awards. So if you won, say, 15 or 20 points in awards, as far as upgrade ability, you can use those in our league. You can use those to upgrade your player. Now, all other rules still apply, which means that you can't go more than 3 points in a single attribute, and it has to be non-premium attributes. But you can increase more than 8 points per off season if you win multiple awards and use this mechanic. You also cannot spend on other off-season regimen programs for any player that's used all the rewards, because we're not going to allow you to basically pile on top of pile. Okay? So that's pretty much our mechanics around the off-season regimen program. Again, we simplified it a good bit. We may have taken some things out that guys liked, because I know there was a few of those old mechanics that we had in place that guys really love to use, but we wanted to simplify the process, make it simpler for everybody involved to both understand how it works, understand what you're getting, and essentially just streamline it both for you and for us on the admin side. And I'll show you how we streamline it on the admin side. Instead of having to post all your things in a big list like we used to have you do, where you'd be like, I want this player to get this and this player, and have to post all these things, and us as admin have to go back in and painstakingly check off and make sure we did them all. And then sometimes mistakes would have to be made, or mistakes would be made, and we kind of double up on each other sometimes. To help everybody out, we have a form that's going to be used for every single off-season regimen program you do. And I want to emphasize that every choice you make needs a separate form. So here's the way you get the form. Let's see if it come up. Okay, cool. ORP form. So this is what we have, okay? Now, you will not need to give your email address. That's not something that's going to be part of the process. It's just because I'm the admin, so it's saying I have to do that. What team is making this adjustment? Let me reset the form before I get started. Yeah. I think I did some play tests of it, so I want to make sure it worked right. What team is making this adjustment? I'm the Rams, so I'm just going to jump in as the Rams. What tier are you wishing to use for this particular form? You pick one of the 4 tiers. Now, when you pick a tier and you hit next, it will tell you which options you have available to you. This tier has the ability to increase certain attributes up 1 and certain traits 1 rank left or right. So it's real generic, so you have to kind of use that form or the document, this document, to let you know what you need to do. But if you come here, player skill focus training, player trait focus training, choose player skill focus training, you hit next. Any single player gets +1 to non-premium attributes. What position is the player you are modifying? This is important. Be sure you put this in properly. Make sure you spell the name right, or as close to right as possible, because we're going to use that to make sure we're putting it on the right player. Get it within the ballpark and we should be okay, but hopefully you can get it spelled right. What skill would you like to improve? And guess what? It tells you the +1 right here. Now, obviously, it's going to be the shortened form, so you're going to have to know what it is based off the game. But all of these should be fairly self-explanatory if you look at them. If you're not familiar with them, you can ask a member of leadership or somebody in chat, and we'll be able to tell you what it is. So if you're not sure what this breakdown is, you can ask somebody or you can look it up. But essentially, once you choose that, which you have to choose one, you then submit the form. Okay, so that's it. Now, if you want to change somebody else, something else, you have to submit another response, and that's not a problem. Just be sure that you're keeping track of your points, because at the end of this, you're going to post basically, hey, I filled out X amount of forms and spent X amount of points. So I'm going to choose the Rams again because I'm filling out another form, and I'm just going to show you examples of each tier. Obviously, I won't have 15, 25, 30. I won't have 32 points to spend, but just to give you an idea of what's going on. So tier 2, next, 5 points. It even tells you how many points you're spending. The following things are purchased at the skill tier: advanced trait focus, position coach work, gain or lose weight. If you do position coach work, I'll show that one off because that's going to be the most complicated one. You can obviously come in here, player you are modifying. You pick a position first, and you can pick, obviously, for O-line, you have different splits. You have different D-line splits. You have different pass rush coverage, run stuff. So a linebacker has a little bit more variety. Then corner, free safety, strong safety. Once you pick your position, and obviously D-line applies to DE and DT. O-line applies to every single O-line from left tackle to right tackle and everything in the middle. And linebacker is outside linebacker, middle linebacker. Okay, just to kind of clarify these different types. So your player has to be at that position to qualify. So if you want to use the linebacker pass rush, which is honestly similar to the defensive end pass rush, so you shouldn't have a problem with this, you have to make sure they're an outside linebacker to use that. They cannot be a defensive end and use the linebacker pass rush. So boom, we choose linebacker pass rush, and I'm going to choose Byron Young, one of my rookies on the Rams. And once you submit that, boom, then you can submit a third one. So you can keep submitting as long as you know you have points. And this is all it is. You just put in your player, put in your team, put in what tier you want to use. O-line film study, workout program, rush to 92 above and beyond. Which program are you buying? Workout program is the one I'm going to show here because that's the one that's going to be the oddball one of the bunch. You got to pick which player you're modifying. I will modify, I guess, Matthew Stafford again. I mean, I'm not really going to modify him, but just to show this off. Choose choose two of the three to increase. Picking more or less than two to avoid this entry. You can pick more than two, and you can pick less than two, but please pick two, because whenever we see it on our side, we see what you picked. And do be aware that if you don't pick enough or you pick too many, we will simply ignore that entry and we will delete it and we will not edit it. So be sure you are correct and sure about which ones you want. I'm going to take injury and toughness, submit, boom. There you go. Now let's go to tier 4 just to show it off. Rams. Wishing to use tier 4. And option will you purchase? Tom House Quarterback School is what I'm going to choose. And then I have to say the name. So I'm going to choose, we'll choose Stetson Bennett. Even though I don't know what his throwing mechanics are. I'm going to choose change throwing style completely. I don't know what it is. Now, I will know once the game drops. Traditional. I'm going to say traditional. I'm going to change them to slinger. And I'm just going to say slinger and let you guys let that happen because I'm changing. But if I say I wanted to not change I just want to alter my current one. Let's say I'm traditional 7. I would put in here traditional 4, just as an example. Okay, so if you're changing completely, you don't have to put a number because you may not know the number. But if you're let's see, alter change throwing style completely. I'm traditional. I want to be slinger. I want to be slinger, and then boom. And that's all there is to it. That's all you have to do on your end to submit these. Once you're done, however, what you will do, and now I'm scrolling over. Let me make sure everybody can see this before I keep going. Nope. Let me see here. Make sure we can see this. Can I share that? Properties. Yeah, there we go. Boom. All right, so now we're in the main chat of Discord. And let me pull that up. There we go. Now you can see that. So essentially, once you've submitted forms, all you'll do is you'll come down to player edits and you will create a thread. Now, I'm on a laptop, so do be aware that you may have to do a little extra work to create a thread on your phone. But essentially, you'll go to threads, you go to create thread, and I'm going to label this one video test, Rams ORP for season 6. Okay, you'll tag the roster guru. Okay, and that'll tag everybody that's the roster guru. I have filled out 4 forms for the Rams, and that's all you have to do. You'll hit enter, and then from there on, we'll go check the forms. We will go verify everything that's been that you posted there as far as what you filled out. And as we edit, we will note things. So like, for example, if I'm coming in here, I have edited Matthew Stafford's, I don't remember. I think I was carry +1 because I was being goofy. Throwing style to slinger 9. And injury toughness +5. And I will tag everybody. And that's going to annoy them this morning, but that's just a test anyway. So boom. And now we can keep up with it. And now we know what's been edited. We know it's been fixed. And you can verify it on your end, because if we put down the information that you put in and something's incorrect or something doesn't look right, you can say, hey, wait a minute, that's not what I put in. And at this point, we're going to have a discussion because we're going by exactly what the form tells us. So clearly, like for the case of this, maybe carry +1 was not correct. So maybe I'd come back in and be like, no, Matthew Stafford's carry wasn't upgraded. It was his short accuracy or something. So at that point, we can make corrections if we need to. But that's basically it. That's all you'll have to do. Just create a thread, say how many forms you filled out, and then go from there. Okay, that's all you'll have to do. So it's going to simplify the process on your end because you won't have to worry about posting a whole bunch of information, which can get kind of dicey, especially on the phone. You'll just tell us how many forms you filled out, And if you filled them out properly, we'll go in and we'll check them and we'll verify them and we'll post what's been edited as we go so we can keep track of what's been edited as we go. And then after that, you're done. That's all you have to do. Okay? And the only other thing I would suggest doing, which I didn't do on this video, would be making sure maybe you post how many points you spent. Points spent. Now, I spent 32, which is probably not accurate, but you get the idea. Just put how many points were spent and we can verify it from there. Okay? So with that being said, that's all there is to the ORP process. I'm hoping that this wasn't terribly complicated. I know it's a little bit of a heavy lifting for league activities in the off season, especially with all the other stuff going on with draft, as I have hair on myself, with draft going on, with free agency going on, trades, everything going on in the off season. This is a lot to process as well. But hopefully this video helps break it down and make it a little simpler for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask any member of league leadership. We'll be happy to help you out with anything you might inquire about. This has been a breakdown of the ORP process going forward and all the things that we've changed and altered, the way we've simplified how you process the information, how you send the information in, and the way we send it back to you. All of it is streamlined. It's an effort to make it a more simple process going forward for everybody involved, for admin side to make it easier for us to input the values, for your side to make it easier for you to not have confusion as far as how you post the information. Basically, it's in a form, it's in a grid. We have a spreadsheet we get that has all this information detailed out. I didn't show you that because that's our stuff we look at, but essentially, excuse me, we have it all broken down. It all shows up on our side, and we can go through it and process it hopefully pretty quickly. I think the process as a whole will be a lot more smooth going into this off season and going forward. Hopefully you will too. As always, we'll take feedback on anything we're changing and tweaking with. So feel free to provide any feedback, especially on those end of season survey forms we send out at the end of every season. So with that being said, this has been a video breakdown of the ORP process. I am Winuvas, one of the leadership team here in the WFL. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. It's always appreciated, and we'll catch you next time.